lights out, high till it's bright out. Oh, just another lonely night. Are you willing to sacrifice your life?
Okay, and we're back. It's another one. It's another fun. Another love of demons. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this quest. This quest is the final demon quest, of course. You know the story, you know the tale. We've come up to this point. So please be familiarized with the horrible, horrible reality that is being a demon swordsman. It's lying to yourself, it's causing revenge on yourself from yourself. So we're fighting our good buddy Diesel this time to knock him into his senses. I'll go ahead and give my gameplay spoilers of what we're doing, then I'll give the story spoilers of what the hell is happening, and then we'll get into the topics of the day, which, before we get into all that, during my intro here, let me just apologize for the audio at the end of the last episode. I know it cut out, it got retarded, it got nasty. It's because I recorded it in a different, similar way, and it slashed it because it was interrupted, and then when I wasn't interrupted and I finished it, it was just recorded in a different way. So I apologize, I could re-record it. I'm not going to. I'm gonna leave all my mistakes in there. We're just gonna move forward because it honestly doesn't have to be perfect, but I do have to show up consistently. And I feel like that part is perfect for at least a social media presence. Right now, in the current age of truth 2025, people just want you to be there. They just want something comfortable, and I think, at least for me, I imagine I have visions of people who are like learning English or having trouble sleeping or, you know, just like to see gameplay on in the background. Because oftentimes what I love doing with these is literally just turning the gameplay on in the background, like of my TV, and just so I can watch Dragon Quest. Because, you know, it's 2025. We're constantly fed with crazy amounts of information. So in my eyes, you're gonna feel like a weirdo if you're just the one guy who's just not constantly feeding yourself with bullshit. And it doesn't feel good to be the outcast. So instead of feeding it with bullshit, I'm just gonna feed it with an obsession that I really like in order to propel myself forward in life. And that obsession is gaming. So guys, walk along with me as I take you through the gameplay here of what's happening. Once again, the episodes will get better because I'll just start noticing more because I'll get more locked in. I will get more locked in as we continue, right? So no worries there. Gameplay-wise, what we're doing is, first of all, we have to talk to our wonderful Villa again, and then we need her magic potion power of onions from this guy. You know what I'm saying? It makes her senses activate more, right? You know, that's funny because everybody talks about the whole chopping onions makes you cry. I feel like that's just because life is sad and terrible at all times, and when you chop onions or garlic or whatever the fuck this is, um, these spicy things, they essentially bring you to awareness, bring your senses to activate, cause your senses to overload, you know. And the strongest, powerful, most strong man emotion is indeed sadness. You think it's anger, right? But anger is just like a cover up for sadness or hurt or anguish or confusion or whatever. It's just the first one we go to. And as protectors, guys, going to anger immediately is not a bad thing. Never say that is a bad thing for you, okay? That is your protector instinct. And anger should drive you to love. You know, indeed it should. It should come from love and it should bring you back to love. But a lot of people, they skip that middle part. They're like, I don't know, I'm still angry. I just want a goon now. And I'm like, that's not, okay. All right. All right, man. All right, man. But essentially, we get the garlic, breathe through his nose, and then they can smell Diesel. So we found him. He's at his mother's grave in the desert, and then we're gonna go there. We're gonna convince him to stop being a crazy person. Agatha's gonna be there. It's gonna have a great cutscene and all that wonderful stuff. And yeah, and story-wise, that is essentially what's going on. So Diesel was the one who killed his parents. Sadly, it was not this Wyman fellow. Wyman is just feeding off of his hate, feeding off of his anger. You know, and the thing is, guys, these demons are not human because they feed off of hate. If you are someone who feeds off of hate, you know what I'm saying? You're a kind of different type of person, because this is not how we should be eating, sustaining ourselves. That is a demonic entity within you, causing you to be fueled by this. I swear to you, man. But at the same time, hate comes from being human. See, the difference, though, is that you have the hate because you are human, but you don't feed off of it. It doesn't bring you strength. You are not Super Hate Man who eats evil power. That is not how you work. That is not how humans should work, in my opinion. Which is why, if you go over to the Magic Maze playlist, you'll see, we went through the enemy types, essentially. And there are demon types in the world, and I feel like this is one of the key characteristics, If you know anybody who's like, yeah, the hate fuels me. Yeah, I love the haters. Haters gonna give me the energy I need. And it's been, it's constantly being thrown at us in the African American community as something that we should totally be proud of, totally be like, yes, this is truly what's gonna bring me through life. Guys, you realize reading copious amounts of bad shit about yourself will not do any good for your psyche. I'm not saying having them is bad, I'm not saying hating a person is bad, but eating the hate and moving forward with it, you should not do that. The only hate that you should eat and move forward with is your self-hate. If you are eating someone else's hate, that is not something holy. That is not something that God wants. And believe it or not, guys, there is a higher power looking over us. I don't care what kind of life you've lived. There's been some supernatural shit that you can't fucking explain that happened real deal in your goddamn life. That's a higher power, okay? And that higher power is not happy at all when we feed off of others' hate. It's clear. It always comes back to you. It always blows up in your face or your dick or your... It's gonna blow up, It's gonna blow up. And you may think, yeah, it blew up. I got all this money now, man. If there's one thing that doesn't bring longevity, it's hate. And people know that. If people like Kanye didn't start out the way he started out, he wouldn't be able to feed off of hate the way he does now. And a lot of people, they start feeding off of hate, and then they go to a different area. You go to 50 Cent, He was fearful. He feared so much, he thought the hate was gonna save him. It didn't. It got him shot 9 times. You know what I'm saying? So you can even get out of there. You can get the hate. You can be like, oh yeah, I feel off the hate. You know what I'm saying? I'm amazing now. And it can still come back to you. It can still fight you. But then you can change your ways. You can be like, hold on, let's shift this again. You don't have to just live in fear just because hate got you one time. Life is so long, man. So long. So we have an exercise here at the end that I'm going to talk about. And it's funny because I was reading while I was sort of, half reading, watching, listening, whatever you want to call it, Bible verses with various YouTubers, and they were just telling me, like imagine this scenario where someone who wronged you, someone who betrayed you, someone who you have no love for in your heart, someone who you technically hate, had a huge, monumental win in life. Like they got a great lottery ticket, they got a good job, they're married and they have a bunch of wonderful kids, their relationship's going good, their friendship group's going, whatever. Just imagine that. How does that make you feel? What expression is coming across on your face, and truly understand where you are in this journey. And know that if you don't have that super positive, like jubilant, like, yeah, oh my gosh, my haters are winning. If you don't have that, that's fine. But be honest with yourself and know that having basically anything in your heart for these people, for their anguish, will not help you. It will not propel you forward, And you have to come to terms with the fact that their life could go anyway. It could go up, go down, but you can't dictate what you are doing because of it. For me, I'm a little bit of a crazy person. I'll just give my perspective on the story. When I was reading this YouTube video, or, reading a YouTube video, that's hilarious. Just like you're reading this one right now. Hilarious. Well, you will have to read it if you want to get the story. I will not voice act this post-commentary. I will not do it. It's just going to be goofy. More goofy than I already am, but yeah. When I was watching this video, I don't know why, I just smiled thinking about all the people, because the crazy thing about me in my life is I really don't want things. The thing I've wanted most from anyone is just their time and to connect, on a deeper level, which usually leads to, awkward situations of mixed clarities and intentions. But it's the true. It's the spending the time with people. It's causing smiles. It's truly connecting with them on a deeper level, whether it be through combined interest or values or morals, things we watched, causing different opinions on things. Your hot takes. I love hot takes. Collaborations with art and stuff like that. That's what really gives me the most energy from things. So when I truly think about all the people who have so-called wronged me, which is impossible to do because I don't want anything, And then I think about them having like a better life now that I'm gone, now that I don't talk to them anymore, because I don't talk to anyone besides you guys. It just makes me smile, because it's like, that's what I wanted to happen. That's what I needed to happen, because I don't think I've ever really wanted like a long-term friend. It's not something that I've really ever required in life, because people just seek out me for some reason. I didn't realize it until I got fired and I was outside of my house every day, sometimes twice a day, from plans that I did not make. I don't make plans with people. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. I gotta eject those Cito cousins, because I don't know why, but this don't feel right. You know, it was one of those moments where you see every depressed person go through this. Like, your life is so great, why are you sad? And I was like, you've been in this mode for too long of life great, why sad? You've been in this mode for too long of not understanding yourself. It's time to shut everything off. It's time to turn his TV off and figure myself out. So that's what I did. Maybe a little bit haphazardly, maybe a little bit too fast, but you know, when God decides what you want to do is what you want to do. You just really know the way to go. You know, so I implore you, don't hate your hate. You gotta love your hate. You gotta love every part of you. But mostly, just treat yourself like your crush. Whoever you've really liked in life, whoever you've been like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. I just want them to like live the best life ever, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, treat yourself like that. That's basically you, you know? You are that inner child within yourself. But with the consciousness of an old, decrepit fart who has been beaten down by the world multiple times. At least that's what I'm suspecting. At least, you know, I'm making this for me, talking back to myself. So, you know, you've pulled this random YouTube video. I suppose the algorithm, you know, knows you enough to lead you here. Maybe we're similar. Maybe you just need to give up that part of yourself, that mistake that you think you made, and just be like, I have to work with the choices I've made right now. I gotta work with this path. It doesn't really matter, you know? It's just like the, what was that parable? Where that guy was like, I had this path and that path, but in the end, they all kind of lead to the same place, you know? And that's really what revenge is, if you want to get down to brass tacks. It's not really taking revenge against the person or the thing that did you wrong. It's taking revenge against your choice. Your choice to accept that shit. And that's not a bad choice. That was just you working off the information you had at the time, man. Be kind to yourself. That's how you get rid of the revenge, man. But the hate, we're all gonna have it. You know, don't run away from that shit. The hate can fuel you, but you have to turn that into self-hate. You know, you have to turn that into, you know, a blade of truth and silence that just is introspective, and it's just like, what could I do better next time, you know? And we're gonna use that to just take actions, you know? We're gonna use that to move, to actively move through the world. And this is why I say love and hate can come from the same place, can be incredibly similar. Now, interacting at the same time in the same way, that's a little rare. That's a little rare, right? But we work with rare YouTube pulls. We work with legendaries all the time. So, indeed, in the strangest of places, you can work with your hate. You know, but definitely don't deny your human instinct. You know, you don't want to be ChatGPT 4 who just gasses people up, who just slurps and glorps cock. You know, because they ChatGPT actively ruined us with that version. You know, we don't know how to connect with people now. We only know how to make people comfortable. We only know how to maintain national surveillance and keep everybody in line. But we want everybody to feel human, feel seen, feel understood, right? So take your hate and use it to create a world where you don't have to be around all that shit. You know? That foundation of peace is what we really need. That's what's really gonna solve a lot of this bullshit going on around. Huh? The foundation of peace, baby. A peace, baby. That's my niece, baby. I need peace, baby. My release, baby. Peace, baby. That's a new single. It's peace. But yeah, it's a level of understanding that a lot of people really won't reach, that I will definitely preach from the ends of time. You know, true understanding and letting other people understand them is like Okay, I have my morals, you have your morals, you be over there, I be over here. Okay? Sometimes that's just the way the world gotta work. It's a big world, right? So keep your foundation of peace, and if you have something that really insignificantly bothers you, you don't have to interact with it. You can turn the TV off. You can Kendrick Lamar at any time. And I think that's how you truly get rid of the instinct of revenge. You move forward with your life, with your direction, with your power, and you say fuck it to everybody else, to everything else. We don't need that, you know? All that shit in the past, I can think about it. I'm not going to ignore it. I will not forget it. Because it's a part of me. But I will forgive it. Because that aids me. Because that's my choice, and it does nothing to them. It gives them nothing. You can forgive someone. You don't have to interact with them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to fill their bubble with air. You know? You can completely starve it. While completely forgiving them in your heart. And a lot of that comes from just turning the TV off, man. You don't need to do it. You don't need to read that 1,000-page document. You don't need another Google Docie, man. You don't need another Google Docie. But for my grifters, my lifters, my spiritual pickers, spiritual nose pickers, I do appreciate you. I appreciate the content. You know, you know me, I gotta drop every day too. And we in Droptober, baby. Every day Droptober. Let's go. Let's go. We love it. We love this month. We love this life. I love this moment, you know? And if you love this moment, I implore you to drop a like so that YouTube recommends you more of these videos. You can subscribe to definitely get more of these videos if you want to do that. I don't recommend it unless you want to be bothered every day. So, you do you though. You do you though. I just appreciate you for being here, for viewing the footage, for loving to see these wonderful anime women, these wonderful VTubers. We had Static Tokyo, Bebe, and Snuffy here for our viewing pleasure, fighting the boss and whatnots. And the sister, Agatha, and brother Diesel will now move forward, you know? Because that's how you really get rid of revenge. You just move forward. Diesel made a mistake, and now he's just gonna live. He's just gonna live. And that's all you need to do, man. I know a lot of people love to drop guides and facts and all this bullshit and like, this is how you do this. And that's my guide, man. That's my fucking guide. There's no fucking steps. There's no ramifications. If you didn't learn something, you didn't learn something. That's cool. I don't care. All you gotta do is live your life. That's what I'm ending on. You know? That's it. Not too much more, right? Simple, right? And we love this. Okay, guys, but remember, it will all be on the test. So, to not fail, take some motherfucking notes. All right. I do love you. I do appreciate you. Drop the sub if you like. We're done. And I will see you next time.